Hello everyone, I am B.W. Smith, your City Councilman in District 5. I hope this video finds you and your family doing great. Can you believe that in a few weeks it will have been 1 year since I was elected to represent District 5 here in the City of Mesquite? And I want to tell you it has been an honor to represent you, and I have another year to go and maybe more years after that with the good Lord willing. But the time that I do have left, I expect great things to happen in this wonderful city that we live in. Recently, October the 1st, we passed a new budget for the fiscal year 2021. I want to tell you that it was not an easy thing to do because there were some difficulties and some challenges that we faced during this time. From the very beginning, going back to February and March, we were told that we had to do many things with a deficit of about $5 million, and we didn't know where the money would come from and how we were going to do it. But during our budget workshops, we talked about it and we came up with some options, and I want to go over some of the options that we talked about. Option number one was we could reduce or cut city services. Another option was that we could raise your property taxes. By doing that, problem solved. The money comes in and we get everything that we want. And another option was we could concentrate on economic development and what economic development can bring to this city. And along with that, we talked about the money that we do have coming in, your taxpayer money, how we can take that money and make a better use of it. So this is what we did. We sat down, we came up with a budget that was passed, like I say, a few weeks ago. It went into effect October the 1st. Let me share with you some of the things that was passed on this year's budget that you may not know about that I think you ought to know. So let me just go over a couple of them with you. For the first time in 25 years, we lowered your property taxes with the expectation of lowering them again for next budget year. Another thing that we did with this budget, while other cities are defunding police, some cities have done that and they've already regretted it. Instead of the City of Mesquite defunding our police department, we added 4 additional officers to our police force to help protect the citizens of this city. As you well know, in every city USA, there's always the problem of mental health issues. Our police and fire department every day respond to calls that, unbeknown to them, when they get there, it involves someone with a mental health issue. So what we have done, because we don't want these issues to go bad in any way, but we felt like that we needed to set aside money for training for every officer in the department, every paramedic, and every fireman to receive more training this year in mental health so they can better understand the problems that a person with mental health is going through so they can make the right choices in whatever the crisis may be going on. One thing that I've heard over and over is all the loose dogs that we have in the city, and it's true that we do have a lot of loose dogs. But our animal control people can only do so much with the staff they have. So while understanding that, we were able to add 2 additional animal control officers to help get these dogs off the street, to make our streets safer so that when you go for a walk with you and your children, that there's no incident involving a dog or some other type of animal. Another thing that we were able to do this year is to expand our animal control shelter. And that gives us the ability that as it gets crowded, that we don't have to worry about putting animals down. Nobody wants to do that. And with this new addition, we feel like that the animals that we take in, we're going to have room for them, and hopefully we're going to find good, solid homes for them. Another thing that we did, which is something that I'm very proud of, because to tell you the truth, when I first saw this at the beginning of the year, it was kind of a burr under my saddle, as they say. And at one of the city council meetings, an item came across that we were supposed to approve a contract to a lawn company for over $200,000 to mow grass in the medians and to do weed eating in the city. And my first thought was, well, don't we, the city of Mesquite, don't we have lawnmowers? Don't we have weed eaters? Why isn't this something that we can do ourselves instead of paying someone else to do it? Well, lo and behold, there was a research done by the city, and our assistant city manager, Ted Chin, on one of our meetings came back and said, I've got some great news for you all. We have looked at this, and we have determined that if we create our own division to mow and do the cutting throughout the city, not only can we save these hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we can create an 18-man crew to do this, and that is exactly what we did. And then something else that we were able to do for our senior citizens and those who can't get around and rely on our transportation services, we were able to increase our services to them, the hours of operation, so forth and so on. A great benefit for those who can't get from point A to point B without someone coming to pick them up. There was no increase in our water bill this year. We're very glad that we were able to not increase that, because I know that has been a sore topic for everyone for a number of years. We were able to do all of these things because we listened to you, the taxpayers. We listened to you when you told us that you want to hold us accountable for your tax dollar. And we told the city manager, Mr. Kahili, and the city staff to look at everything that we spend our money on, your money on, and look at it. And we need to be more frugal with it, and we need to be better spenders of your money. And it's because that we did these things that we were able to create such an awesome, awesome budget. Now then, economic development. And if you look over my shoulder, and you can see maybe the concrete trucks and the buildings that have recently been built. And so the question is, well, what does that mean to the city of Mesquite? What does that mean to me as a taxpayer for economic development, and why should I care about economic development? Well, here's the reason. It's not going to be long that these buildings are going to be complete. They're going to be built. There's going to be many, many businesses that are going to move into here. They're going to hire many, many employees, and there's going to be a lot of things going on here, and all of this that you see equates to tax revenue dollars in our coffers. Money that you, the taxpayer, didn't have to put in. It's money that through economic development that we're able to hopefully continue to lower your taxes as we go along. Now, economic development is not always commercial property as you see here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about economic development in residential. When you look back at Spradley Farms and what we did with Spradley Farms, this is a development that's going to build thousands of homes and bring in millions of dollars in tax revenue to the city. You have to know that not only are we going to get new homes, but we're going to get new stores. And yes, we're finally going to get some restaurants in a part of Mesquite where now there's just not any. It's something that it's been told to me time and time again, when are we going to get some restaurants over here? Well, the day is coming. The day is coming because of economic development, that as we continue to build like this, we can continue to reduce your burden as a taxpayer by lowering your tax rate, by bringing in more economic development. Okay, that's about all I want to tell you right now about economic development. And in just a moment, we're going to turn the camera off and we're going to move to a new location. And when we get there, I want to talk to you about what it means to have good city services and give you an example of what our city does when our constituents tell us that there is a problem. And I want to show you and give you an example of what we can do. I'll see you in a minute. Earlier, when I was talking to you about the things that we were able to approve in this budget, I left out one thing on purpose because I wanted to bring it up over here. Over my left shoulder is an alley. As you are aware, in our city, we have many, many alleys that are just in horrible condition. Another thing that we were able to approve this year was we created a 5-man alley crew, and their job all year long is going to be to rebuild and repair alleys throughout the city. Several months ago, at one of my District 5 meetings, I had a resident in this neighborhood, and we're over on Sierra, tell me about the flooding problem over here, that every time it floods, it's just horrible conditions. I came over here, I looked at it, it was exactly as was described. I contacted again Mr. Chin, our assistant city manager. We met out here, we looked at the problem, and the street department and our engineers came up with a plan to help the flooding in this neighborhood over here. And as you can see, this is the part that they're working on now that is under construction. What has happened over the years, the road has been rebuilt and has gotten higher, but the ground stayed where it was, and it kind of created a little valley so the water just doesn't run off in these yards. So what the street department and the engineers have come up with is they have made a concrete drainage ditch to run down all the way through the middle of this property, and as it rains, the water is going to drain in a proper way and not have this flooding. As a matter of fact, this area to my right that's already completed, we've had some rain, and I came over here and saw how big of a difference it made by doing this over here, and this will soon all be finished. So that's the importance of city services when we talk about option of cutting or reducing. It's just something that we don't want to do. And when I go back to talk to you again about economic development and the tax dollars that will come in through that, that's going to allow us to increase our city services as the city continues to grow. In closing, I want to leave this thought with you. When I was elected last November, I wanted to be able to make sure that for every phone call that I received, for every email that I received, for every contact that I made at one of our district meetings, I wanted to make sure that I had the availability to get back with you. So something I created is a book that every time that you call me or you send me an email or you tell me about an issue you're having, I have made, and you can see there are many, many entries in here that I have made over this 1 year of everybody that I have came in contact with that has had an issue. I can't tell you that we were able to resolve every issue to 100% satisfaction. That's impossible to do, but I will tell you that a lot of these we have looked into, we have corrected problems, we have made a difference. And my promise to you as I get into my second term, my second year, in a few weeks is, like I said earlier, it's an honor for me to serve you. And I pledge to you, I will continue to represent you in District 5 and do whatever I can to increase the quality of life for everyone in this district. May God bless you all and have a great day.